If statement. What is if statement? If statement is used to execute a block of code only when a specific condition is met. For example, I will say if a condition followed by a full column, then execute a block of code. If else statement. When a condition is not met, we want to execute another code. For example, if a condition is met, execute a block of code, else execute this code. If elif else statement. Here we want to test multiple conditions. If condition 1 is true, execute this block of code. Elif condition 2, execute this block of code. Then we can finally say else, execute this block of code if all the conditions above are not true. Don't forget, if you want to register for your in-person training in Python, data science, data analysis, web development, and lots more, kindly contact or chat the number above. Okay, so we want to look at if statement. If statement is a control structure that can control the flow of our program. So we have if as a keyword. So if a particular condition is true, then we want to execute a particular code. Okay, let's declare age to be 25. Age can be any value, probably a value entered by a user. So we want to execute a code if age is greater than or equals to 25. So if age is greater than or equals to 25, then we want to execute a code. That means if this is true, then the code below will be executed. Then print you are an adult. So let's print. So you can see it prints you are an adult. If I change the age to be 20, now age is not greater than or equal to 25, so we don't expect these to be executed. So you can see nothing is executed. Now the next one we want to look at is if else statement. If else statement. Now let's say we have if age is greater than or equals to 25, you should print you are an adult. Now what if this condition is not true? We want to print or output or execute other code. So we have to use else. Else print you are young. Let's execute this code. Can you see? You are young because the age is actually 20, and if age is greater than or equals to 25, this is not true. So if this is not true, to go to the else path and execute the else part. So it executed the else part because the age is 20. Okay, so let's have another example. To take input from user, you want to take score from user and determine if the score is greater than or equals to 70, the person should be qualified, otherwise the person should not be qualified for a scholarship. Let's have a score. Score equals, we are converting the input from the user to int. Say input, enter your score. Now we are testing the score. If score is greater than or equals to 70, then we want the person to be qualified for a scholarship. You are qualified. Else, print, you are not qualified. Okay, so let's enter a score. Okay, let's put a full column and a space. Let's rerun. Let's terminate and rerun. Enter your score. Let's enter, let's say 100. The person is supposed to be qualified, so you can see you are qualified. Let's rerun. Let's enter 20. You are not qualified. Okay, the last example we want to look at is to determine if a number is even or odd. If a number is even or odd. So let's try to get the number from the user. Let's declare a variable called number equals. We are converting the number to an integer. So input, enter the number. Now, a number is an even number if when you divide it by 2, the remainder is 0. Okay, what is that code or arithmetic operator that can give me remainder? If I say number divisible or modulus 2, this I'm doing here, I'm saying take number divided by 2 and return the remainder. This would give remainder. This will not give division. So modulus here means I'm getting the remainder. So if the number here is 10, if I get the modulus by 2, then the remainder here is 0. So this will return 0. So we can say if number modulus 2 equals 0. So that means if the remainder, this number modulus 2 means the remainder is equals to 0. So what do you want to do? Print. I want to use f-string so that I can put the variable, which is number, in the string I want to print. So f-string, place order, then a number. I want to say number, which is the number I entered, is an even number. Else, print f-string, number is an odd number. Okay, let's try to run this. Before that, let's disregard this. So enter a number. Okay, let's put our full column in front. Let's terminate and rerun. Let's try 10. 10 is an even number. Okay, let's run again. Let's try 2. 2 is an even number. Let's try an odd number. Let's say 5. 5 is an odd number. Okay, now we want to look at if, elif, else statement. If, elif, else statement. There are some times we want to test for multiple conditions. So the best way to do that is to use if, elif, else statement. Let's try to explain this with a simple code. Let's get score from user. And we want to convert the score to an integer. So that's why we are wrapping everything with int. Now take the input that you want to convert to integer. Take it from the user, input. Then prompt the user to enter something. Enter your score. Now test. If score is greater than or equals to 70, we want to print your grade is A. Now I want to test for another condition, which is If score is greater than or equals to 60, I want the grade to be B. So instead of using else, I will use elif because I'm testing for another condition. So elif score greater than or equals to 60, print your grade is B. Elif score is greater than or equals to 50. I want to print your grade is C. And if all these conditions are not true, I want to terminate by using else. Print your grade is F. That means if the person enters anything which is not part of this, which is not greater than 60, is not greater than 70, is not greater than 50, probably it is 40, 45, 30, then I want the grade to be F. That is the meaning of this else part. Okay, let's run our program. Enter your score. Let me put a full column here. We run the program. Let me enter 23. You should be expecting your grade is F. Can you see your grade is F? Let's run again. Let's enter 68. You should expect your grade is B. Let's enter 88. You should expect your grade is A. Now, there is another way to write this program. You can see we are making a lot of repetition. Your grade is, your grade is, your grade is, your grade is. Why can't I write only one, your grade is? Okay, to do this, let's try to rewrite this program. Now let's take score from user. Let's say score, or let's just say new underscore score equals, you're taking the input from user and converting it to an integer, so enter your score. Now we can start testing for a condition. So I want to say if score, or if new score is greater than or equals to 70. So I want to create another variable to store the grade. So can you say grade is initialized to A. So the next one is elif new score is greater than or equals to 60. Then grade is initialized to B. Okay. Elif new score is greater than or equals to 50. Then let me say the grade is initialized to C. Then at the end of the day, if all these are not true, I will put else. Then grade should be initialized to F. So, and after all these conditions are tested, then I want to print. Then I'll now come below the else. That's after the old condition. Print F string your grade is, then place order grade. So it will have tested the condition and determined the grade with this program. So for example, if I enter 70, it will have assigned A to grade. Then it does not go through all these conditions again. It comes down and check for this line and print the grade as grade, which is A. If I enter 65, this is not going to be true. It will go to elif. Now since this is true, it will assign B to grade. Then it will skip all this and come down to this line to print your grade is the B, which is the execution. So let's test this. Okay, let's just do it with this. Let's rerun. Enter your score. I can put a full column here. Let's rerun. Let me enter 78. I'm expecting A. You can see your grade is A. Let me enter 23. I'm expecting F. Your grade is F. Let me enter 66. I'm expecting B. Your grade is B. Okay, we want to look at a simpler version of the if statement. We call it single line if statement. Let's say, for example, we have score. Let's initialize it to, let's say, 50. Now we want to test if the score is equal to 50 or greater than 50, then we'll say passed, otherwise failed. We can use single line if statement to achieve this by declaring a variable, let's say result equals to. So we now write the if statement on a single line. So you passed, this will be the result if the condition is true. You passed if score is greater than or equals to 50. So this will be stored in result if score is greater than or equals to 50. Else you failed. So if this is not true, then you failed will be stored in result. So we can now print the result. So let's run our program. You can see you passed because the score is actually greater than or equals to 50. Okay, let's put something like 40. You can see you failed because this part is not true, so it will execute this part. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's determine if a number is positive, negative, or 0. Let's declare a variable number equals, and let's take the number from the user and we convert it to integer first, int, then take the input, enter a number. Now let's test. We want to declare a variable to check the number or to store the result of the condition that we want to test. So store positive if number is greater than 0, else print or store negative. So this is the same thing with what we have written before. Positive if number is greater than 0, else, which means if it is not 0, it should be negative. Now we continue. Negative if number is less than 0. Then else the number is 0. So let's run. Enter a number. We can put our full column here. Let's rerun. Let's put 10. Okay, we have not printed the result. So you come here, print. We are going to print the check number. So let's run again. Enter your number 10, positive. Enter your number, let's say 0. Enter your number, let's put negative 1. Then it will tell me negative. Okay, let's look at nested if statement. That is if statement within another if statement. Okay, for example, let's have if score is greater than 70. So I want to say your score is high. Else print your score is low. Now let's assume that if the score is high, that is the score is greater than 70, I want to check if the person is a male or if the person is a female. I want to give scholarship to somebody who score high and is also a female. And if the person score high and the person is not a female, I want to tell the person only females are qualified. That means I need to test another condition after testing the first condition. Let me remove this. So now test. If sex equals female, then we print you are qualified, else print only females are qualified. So after checking this first condition, it will now go to the second condition. So the second condition also terminates with its own else statement. Okay, let's try to run this. So if the score is not actually greater than 70, it will not go to the inner if statement. It will just come to the else part here. Okay, let's try that first. Enter your score. Let me enter 50, which means it will not go through this at all. So it will go through your score is low. Okay. Sex, let's say the person is female. You can see your score is low. Okay. Let's rerun the program. Let's enter score to be 80 and the person is a female. So we expect it to say you are qualified. You are qualified. Okay, let the score be high. Let's say we have 90 and the person is male. So we are expecting only females are qualified. Male, only females are qualified. This is what we call nested if statement.